Hi there guys, it's Aaron here from Console Deals, back again with another unboxing video for you to cap off your week. And this week I am really excited because I've got something really special lined up to you. Obviously on the channel, you know that we're big fans of PowerA products over here. They've always been good to us and always do well with the accessories they provide. Well, today they've sent over none other than the Fusion Pro PowerA 2 wired controller for the Xbox family of consoles. Now obviously we've reviewed the Fusion line a lot on this channel from PowerA, always with impressive results. We did the PS4 Fusion Pro and we did the Nintendo Switch Fusion Pro, but this is the first time we've actually reviewed the Xbox version on this channel, and it's notable because it's the Fusion Pro 2. So they've already released, I think a couple of years back, an original Fusion Pro, but obviously now with the Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X now a thing, they've wanted to get on top of things, and they've done it, hopefully, with the Fusion Pro 2. So I've been trialing out a lot, I've been testing it and putting it through its paces on my very own Xbox Series X, now that I have one. But before I dive into my overall impressions, you guys know what comes next. Let's dive right on in with the unboxing. So here we are guys with our first look at the Fusion Pro 2 from PowerA, obviously the new wired controller for Xbox Series S and X. Just giving you a quick overview here. You've got all the specifications listed on the side and back of the box, and obviously you can play your way because it is indeed so customizable. So I'm super excited to start digging into the features of this controller because I like it quite a lot, if you can't already tell. PowerA and the Fusion line in general just do such a good job really at catering to sort of what I want from a controller, and sometimes even what I don't want, as we'll soon say. But obviously the main thing to concern yourself with is opening the blasted thing to begin with, but it is worth the wait because, as you shall soon see, the suspense is killing me too guys, don't worry. So you've obviously got the controller in its hard shell case there, but you also get a funky design on the outside of the box. They always do a nice job, and this is exactly what I mean really. Lovely Fusion logo on the side there. So yeah. And now just taking it out of the box, I've got rid of the shell there. And underneath the controller, we've got the expected bits and bobs, all the literature, but there is a surprise in there as well, as we'll soon see. But enough teasing, let's give you a proper look at the controller itself. Lovely hard shell case, so if ever you need to take this with you, if you drop it, you know it's going to be safe. And it's the moment of truth. We're going to take a big old look. There is the controller, wrapped up neatly in cellophane with all the required bits and pieces. So before we dive in proper to the controller, I know there are a few completionists out there. They need to know what comes with everything in terms of unboxings. So PowerA have compiled everything in this neat envelope as they normally do. And as you can see, similar to the style of the box shell there, you get some funky stickers which you can either, I don't know, stick on your Xbox Series X console or something else, but they look quite cool. And then it is just a simple booklet explaining all the ins and outs of the controller, user manual if it were. But obviously because this is a wired controller, it's all fairly similar, simple I should say. Everyone will be fine. So yes, the controller itself, let's dive into this. There's not too much to dive into if you aren't already familiar with the Fusion Pro line like I am, but still it's worth looking at. And as you can see, you get it's got a nice, you know, sense of matte, soft texture to it. You've got this new central volume control button, which I believe is new to the Pro 2 line of controllers. And you've got the programmable map back on the back. It all looks good. Up to 4 programmable buttons, more so than the 2, which tends to be the standard. And obviously you can swap out the thumbsticks so you can get different aim sensitivities if ever you're playing shooters online. I'll show you how to swap them out with the existing ones a little bit later on in the video. And obviously the main drawback between this one and the PS4 and Nintendo Switch one is that you get a braided cable because it's wired, but it's 10 foot. It's USB-A to USB-C, no micro USB here, and the little back panel there. So yeah, let me take you through a guided tour of the controller itself. We're going to click this out because it's a magnetic faceplate, so it comes on and off really neatly. And this is what you'll need to do if you want to swap the thumbsticks, which is what I'm going to show you how to do now. So it's as simple as popping them off there. They can be a bit stiff at first. Obviously, I'd already used them a fair bit up until this point. But other than that, it might take you a couple of tries. and it should just neatly click in. I had a bit of trouble with the right side one, so I just did the left one there for you. But as you can see, it slips back on and there's no danger of anything falling out. So yeah, you've got a different height distance to help you with sensitivity. And then taking a look at the back of the controller, you got the program button there. So it's as simple as holding that one down and connecting them to the 4 options. You've got the hair trigger locks, so you can change the distance with every squeeze of the trigger. You might want a different height compared to what you do with shooters as opposed to racing games, for example. And then finally, if you don't want the programmable buttons, if you find that they're just getting in the way or you're not intending this for pro or esports purposes, that is what this extra bonus plastic attachment is for. So it'll clip neatly on the back there, and it's more along the lines of a standard controller. It feels great in the hands, and it's not obtrusive to when you would usually play games, which I like. So obviously this is the Fusion Pro 2. I'm going to compare this to the standard Xbox controller. Similar shape. This is the Xbox Series X controller to be specific. Similar shape, but the Fusion Pro is a lot bulkier, obviously, because it's packing dual rumble motors. It's got, you know, a share button in there, anti-friction rings, magnetic impulse triggers, the whole bunch. And what I would say is that whereas the standard is quite rough on the back, here you get the rubberized grips. So if your hands get sweaty, you know you're good and you can always keep control. Speaking of rubberized grips though, one Xbox first party controller that did this well was the Cyberpunk Limited Edition, which you know I love to bring out a lot, so I thought I'd show you a quick comparison here. But having said that, I think I prefer the Fusion Pro 2. If only it was wired, but even then, as we'll get into later, it is indeed worth it. And then one final comparison I wanted to make. So this is the Fusion Pro PS4 from PowerA. An unboxing for this controller already exists on the channel, but as you can see, different shape. There's obviously no touchpad in the center of the Xbox controller, but you also get better dual rumble motors in the Xbox, the rubberized grips and the plastic back attachment. Obviously it's all there, but you obviously get the volume dial and one touch chat mute button in the center of the Xbox. That is the main differentiator between the Pro and the Pro 2. So it's worth picking up if you just want easier access and you want to control volume on the fly. But overall, really good. And then I've always been leaving this reveal last in the PowerA Fusion unboxing videos. So the faceplate obviously comes off this one. PS4 Pro doesn't offer that. But the Nintendo Switch one did. So I was wondering if they would carry this on. And they obviously have for the Xbox Series X controller. So this one has different anti-friction rings. So you'll notice the difference when using the analog controllers in play. But this is obviously white, so a much cooler style. And you're obviously, you've got that. It's good to have that stylistic difference, basically. So overall, guys, really impressed with the Fusion Pro 2. I think PowerA have done an excellent job. So there you have it, guys, in terms of what you get inside the box itself. Obviously, PowerA, they always do a nice job with the packaging. You've got the very groovy aesthetic on the box itself, and then you open it up and everything is quite neatly placed, and you really get that sense of premium quality whenever you open at least one of the controllers from the Fusion line. And I'm just going to come right out and say it. I ruddy love the Fusion Pro 2 controller for the Xbox Series S, X, One, whatever console you happen to be using, and namely it's because it just feels great in the hands to use. I mean, when I've reviewed and unboxed other Fusion Pro controllers in the past, it's always been with a certain caveat, like why would I use the Fusion Pro for the Nintendo Switch when the Pro controller does a good job? Why would I use the Fusion Pro controller with my PS5 when I've got the DualSense with the haptic feedback? Obviously, there are always certain scenarios where you want to use Fusion Pro over the official first-party controller, namely because you always get the professional 4-button Pro pack on the back. But for me, who doesn't really tend to play competitively, it's never a real issue. Where I am impressed, and where the Fusion Pro 2 does impress me, is in the dual rumble motors, which they've packed into the controller itself. So obviously vibration and haptic feedback is nothing new, and more these days players are being impressed by what developers are able to achieve with simple rumbles and sort of sensitivities in the controller. Well, it might not quite be a DualSense, but until Microsoft get around to creating one themselves, I just think the Fusion Pro 2 wired controller does an excellent job at giving you an immense sense of feedback purely through vibration alone. And I know this because I tested the controller out on 2 main games in particular, one being Dirt 5 on Xbox Series X, and the other one being a first-party game in Gears 5. Gears 5, you expect it to play and handle great because obviously it's a first-party title, or, lots of shooting mechanics and, cover and you're trying to dodge. Well, guns and things like active reload simply feel great when you set the triggers to your preferred setting. Obviously, you got the trigger locks in the back there. But Dirt 5, man, this is where the controller really shines, because while I've dabbled it in a little bit using the official Xbox Series S controller, I've obviously got the black one. Even though it's wired, the Fusion Pro takes it to another level. I'm driving across snow, ice. Obviously, it's an off-road racer, so you'd expect that. But even when you go into more rocky territory, like, there's mud tracks and things like that, the different sensitivities and the different rumble feedback is really well relayed to you through the Fusion Pro 2. And there really is no other way to say it. Obviously, other than that, it's got a nice sense of heft to it, which you kind of want with every third-party premium controller. And I like the ability to customize the faceplate so you get different resistances around the different analog sticks. So overall, guys, I don't know what much more I can say. You've seen the unboxing. You know my thoughts on the Fusion line of PowerA controllers right now. If you don't, go and watch a previous video. But in terms of the Xbox version, particularly with the Pro 2, I think PowerA have done an excellent job, and you really can't hope for more. Obviously, the big new addition this time is you've got the mute and volume button to switch between party and obviously in-game chat on the controller itself, which is a nice touch. And, it's got everything you could possibly want. I know it's wired. It comes with a 10-foot USB-C to USB-A braided cable, but ideally it would be wireless, but, you get such great dual rumble feedback, I'm inclined to forgive it for that. And, 10-foot is going to fit most homes, and you're going to reach, and it's going to be perfectly fine. So anyway, guys, those are my overall thoughts on the Fusion Pro 2 controller for the Xbox line of consoles from PowerA. Do you plan on picking it up? I believe it retails for around about $79.99 here in the UK, which to me is an absolute steal, considering that it's only a little bit, I think £10 higher than Microsoft's own Xbox first-party controller. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for even more content like this. But until next time, enjoy your weekend and happy gaming.